Good to have you with us. Yuka, global oil prices, they've tumbled for a second day amid a fragile ceasefire between Iran and Israel.
Well, Sharon, in the space of 36 hours or so, oil prices have tumbled by more than 10%. We haven't seen such a steep decline since early April. The international benchmark Brent has come down below $68 a barrel and the WTI below $65 a barrel. At the start of the week, there was a lot of concern about a potential supply shock should Iran decide to block the Strait of Hormuz. That concern now appears to be gone as a ceasefire remains in place despite earlier violations. President Trump's social media comment that China could continue buying Iranian oil further fueled the sell-off. Global stock markets, on the other hand, rallied. Wall Street's three main indexes all ended sharply higher, with the Dow Jones gaining around 530 points and the S&P 500 approaching its record high close reached back in February.
Next, the German government has approved a high borrowing budget, Yuka, which includes a huge increase in defence spending.
The German government approved the spending bill just before the NATO summit kicked off, where allies are set to sign up to a new investment plan which will raise the target for defence investment to 5% of GDP, 3.5% on core military spending and 1.5% on related infrastructure. Many NATO members fall far below that target. Under the new budget, Germany's defence spending is set to hit 2.4% of GDP this year and will rise to 3.5% of GDP by 2029. This will put Germany ahead of France and Britain. The country has been running on a provisional budget since the start of this year as the collapse of the previous coalition and ensuing snap elections delayed the passage of an annual spending bill. A constitutional amendment in March removed the so-called debt brake, allowing the new government to borrow more and spend more, notably on defence and infrastructure. Here's Chancellor Merz addressing Parliament earlier.
We will decide to invest significantly more in our security in future. We are not doing this, as is sometimes claimed, to do the United States and its president a favor. We are doing this from our own experience and conviction, because Russia, in particular, is actively and aggressively threatening the security and freedom of the entire Euro-Atlantic area, because we have to fear that Russia will continue the war beyond Ukraine. That is why we are doing this.
Finally, for now, Yuka, a rural town here in France is hoping to get a major investment boost from Google.
From Google, the US tech giant is poised to choose Châteauroux in the Indre region to build its first data center in France. The news has sparked hope with the locals over future job and development opportunities in an area that has long been grappling with economic stagnation and population decline. But data centers are not always so popular, with critics pointing to their environmental impact. Luc Schrager and our colleagues at France Télévisions have this.
Deep in rural central France, these fields could soon become the home for thousands of Google's computer servers. The American tech giant has been looking at nearly 200 hectares to the east of Châteauroux for a new data center for a cost of 58 million euros, and the locals are largely supportive.
It's a chance to create jobs and bring new customers to Châteauroux's businesses.
It's good news for work opportunities. It's good news for the town's economy. For a department like ours, it's always good news.
Google has given itself a year to finalize the purchase. But in the meantime, Châteauroux's mayor is optimistic.
You know, when a data center is built, it means a lot of jobs in construction. And it means professional opportunities for young people, not just in our region, but for those who want to come and find a job here.
Châteauroux might be Google's first data center in France, but other tech firms are coming too. Cambrai in the north is hoping to see one in the next 5 years with the creation of 1,000 jobs. At the other end of the country, Marseille already has 5 and is set to host its 6th. In all, France has about 300 data centers directly employing 28,000 people. However, there's also been criticism over high environmental costs. France's largest center on the outskirts of Paris uses as much electricity every year as a town of 50,000 people, not to mention the millions of litres of water required for cooling.
And that's all from the business desk.
Thanks so much for that, Yuka. That's Yuka Royer there with all the day's business news. Up next.